forget. Thank you again for joining us on a Friday night for our cooking class called Copycat Recipes. It's funny, I had a lot of people ask me, what do you mean by copycat recipes? What's that? Like, what's that class going to be about? And as soon as I mentioned things like, I don't know, have a think about Subway jumbo cookies and KFC chicken, that can give you a good idea of what the class is about. And that's exactly what we're going to be presenting to you tonight. So Ilham is going to start off with think Subway subs, those beautiful bread rolls that they have without all the nastiness in that bread. So yeah, Ilham's going to do Italian herb and cheese subs in the Thermomix. You're going to see how easy it is to do that. Now Sue's going to cook one of her favorites, which is a better than Sara Lee banana cake. Better than Sara Lee. Now you may know Sue by now, being our one of the great bakers in our team, who always presents something really delicious. So looking forward to that one. Then Jody. So this is where Jody's going to come in and show you some cookies that are just like those Subway chewy cookies. Okay, so this recipe is a winner. And Ellie is going to show you how to do Big Mac style sauce that apparently tastes just like Big Mac sauce. You know that white sauce they put inside? Yeah. So put that on your list for your next burger night. And I'm going to show you how to make KFC Crispy Chicken. Yum, yum. So we're going to get started. And Ilham, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. And if I sound echoey, I'm so sorry. I've moved. So there's a lot of boxes everywhere. And yeah, I hope you guys can hear me clearly. Okay, I'm out of breath too because I had to run quickly and organize everything. But yeah, I've got in my, this recipe is not on Cookie Dough, unfortunately. It is on the internet. It's a TM Essentials recipe. But the amazing thing is, I don't know if Sandra's mentioned this before, on Cookie Dough 3.0 that's coming soon, we'll be able to upload those recipes to the Thermomix and then be able to use it guided, so which is awesome. But for tonight, I'm going to do it manually, and so here we go. So I've already pre-measured in there 10 grams of rice, any rice. I'm using basmati right now, and I've got 30 grams of Parmesan cheese. Now, when I put that in there, that's going to mill, because that's going to be the chopping, part of the chopping for the subs. Sandra, this is going to mill for 2 minutes on speed 9. So Zoom is going to cut the sound out, so I won't be able to say anything during that time. Do you want to actually go to someone else for 2 minutes and then come back to me while that's milling? I think Sandra's left.
Yeah, we can do that. That's a good idea. So we can go to Sue with the Better Than Sara Lee cake.
Hi everyone. This is my go-to banana cake when somebody wants a banana cake. It's on Recipe Community and it's called Better Than Sara Lee Banana Cake. So we have, in the recipe, it'll tell you to add the all the wet ingredients and then add the dry ingredients. But this afternoon I pre-made one and I just put it all together in the one bowl and just mixed it for 30 seconds. So we've got 150 grams of raw sugar, 2 eggs, 250 grams of banana. So what better way to get rid of your overripe bananas and make banana cake or banana bread? 120 grams of milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, $120 grams of butter, and then a teaspoon of bicarb and 225 grams of self-raising flour. It goes on, so 30 seconds at speed 5. And there's our batter done. So you can either do it as a whole cake, and this is one I prepared earlier, or I'm going to cook this batch as cupcakes.
So Sue, are you saying that was one step? All those ingredients you put into one step?
Instructions, it says to do it in 2 steps, but this afternoon I just did it all in 1 step, because the class we did the strawberry lemonade cupcakes, it did it all in 1 step. So we put the fresh strawberries and all the ingredients and just whizzed them up on the 1 step. So I thought I'd do it with the bananas, and yeah, it's all
perfect. Awesome. Yeah. And it's going to go in the oven, and you just have that one bowl to wash.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. You're going to show us the icing. Can we go to Ilham first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be back shortly.
Awesome. So what we have there is the Parmesan cheese and the rice milled. So that'll be part of the topping. So all I've got to do now is add the herbs. So we've got 2 teaspoons of garlic, ground up garlic, like dried garlic. That's 1, 2, and then we need 1.5 teaspoons of oregano. Yeah. Okay, and then rosemary, just 1 teaspoon. There we go. And then we're going to do 5 seconds on speed 5, and we're just going to mix that all together, and then we're going to put it into a bowl and keep it like separated. Well, keep it separate for a while until we finish our bread dough. So 5 seconds. Oops. 5 seconds. Speed 5. And then I'll just put it in that bowl. Okay. So once you put it in that bowl, you don't have to wash the bowl. You can just go ahead and do the bread dough. So the bread dough, all you do, let me first put this in the bowl. Put that all in the bowl. I'll show you what it looks like again. Oh, it smells so good. Imagine if you have ever had the Italian cheese and herb sub, it smells exactly like the sub. Okay. So I'm pouring the cheese and herb mix into a bowl. Okay. And then we don't have to wash the bowl because that flavor can infuse into the dough. So it will add to the flavor, it will add the flavor in the dough. Okay. So what we need, I'll just get into my scales and go 360 grams of tepid water. Yep. So I'll grab the water. And as I'm pouring it in, it weighs it for me. Yep, just 200. There we go. And then we need 2 teaspoons of yeast. And we'll just put it in this order. 25 or 10 grams of sugar. So I'll put the scales on again. On. 10 grams of sugar. Then we need 25 grams of milk powder. I'm just under by 2, but that's all right. And then we need 2 teaspoons of bread improver, which I've already put in there. And then we need 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And 20 grams of oil. So we'll just share the scales. 20 grams of oil. Yep. Perfect. And then we've got the 600, oops, I need this guys, 600 grams of baker's flour. Everything there? Yep. Oops. So 600 grams of the baker's flour. Gone over, that's all right. Okay, now we're going to put the lid on and we're first going to mix this for, let's just see. This is the bad thing about not having guided. You've got to try and remember all the steps. So I think it was 3 minutes or 15 seconds, speed 3 for 15 seconds. So 15 seconds. Speed 3. And then I'm going to put, picking up speed. After the 15 seconds of mixing, it's going to knead for 8 minutes. Okay, so we'll switch that off. We go to the kneading, the dough mode. So it changes that to the dough mode now, and then you just take the time to 8 minutes. Oh, hold on, do you guys want to see what it is? I'll show you what it looks like. It's already come together like dough, but we still need to knead it. So I'm just going to set it for 8 minutes on the knead mode, dough mode at least, and then we can go back to Sue or whoever Sandra wants us to go to. So that's me done.
Okay, thanks, Ilham. So Sue, we can go back to you.
Yep. Okay, I've got 15 cupcakes. They're about to go in the oven. And when I put batter into my cupcake molds, I use a 1/4 cup measure. Saves on the mess around the tin and you'll get equal cupcakes. The tray I used for the whole cake was just a slice tray, or you could use if you want a higher cake, a smaller round cake, but you'd need to cook it a bit longer. Okay, so the icing. Okay, the icing is 40 grams of butter, 80 grams of cream cheese, 195 grams of icing sugar, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Now again, with this recipe, it said to mix the cream cheese and the butter and the vanilla together and then slowly add in the sugar. But if you look at the cream cheese recipe on Cookie Do, you just put all the ingredients in and whiz it up. So that's what we're doing today. So 30 seconds on speed 5. That's it, your icing's done. Now I was very dubious, so I thought it wouldn't be enough icing to cover the cake, but it was plenty. So that will go on my cupcake. So the cupcakes, you can ice them and then put them in the freezer, and then as you need them, just grab one out, take it for morning tea. There you go. I'll show you the cupcakes when they're done.
Okay, thanks, Sue. We'll go back to you then. So we can go to, who's number 3? Jody for the chewy chocolate chip cookies. Jody, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I haven't got it on speaker view, so I didn't know I was on yet. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to be making the soft and chewy white chocolate chip cookies. These are on Cookadoo, but there is a version on the recipe community as well, which is exactly the same, but it's called, I think it's better than the Subway cookies. So it's the same recipe. The only difference was this one's got bicarb and salt where the other one hasn't. So it's virtually the same thing. So I'll show you now. So I've just gone into my week and I've got it in there, the soft and chewy white chocolate chip cookies. We go start cooking. I've already preheated the oven and I've already greased the 2 baking trays. Okay, so the first thing I've got to do is 120 grams of the diced unsalted butter. So I've already got that here. Just place that in. Um, 100 grams of granulated sugar. That in. So I just tar it because, as you know, it weighs it all. Okay. 80 grams of brown sugar. I've already weighed that out. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'll just pour that in. Okay. 1 egg. I'm just going to put that in. 250 grams of plain flour, which I've got measured here as well. Teaspoon of bicarb. Packet's nearly empty. I'll just take it up. A pinch of sea salt. A little bit in there. Okay, and then that's it. Just put the lid on. And then we're just going to mix that on speed 5 for 30 seconds. Just to combine it all. Okay, then next. Now we've got to add the chocolate chips, white chocolate chips. 150 grams. Okay. And then I'm just going to combine that again for another 20 seconds. And just doing it on reverse, so I shouldn't crush up the chips too much. Okay, so I'll just show you. So that's the mixture there, all done. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put them into rounds on my trays. It says roughly 4 centimetres. So I can do one for you if you like, and then, or do you want to just go to someone else, Sandra, and then I'll show you once I've finished?
Yeah, I also want to show everyone. So I've got some here that I've frozen. So because how many does it make, Jodie? It makes quite a bit, doesn't it?
It doesn't say.
It would say it at the beginning of the recipe, but you can roll it into a log like this, wrap it in cling film, and then freeze it. And then when you want some chocolate biscuits or some biscuits, you just slice it like a centimetre and pop it in the oven frozen. You don't need to let it defrost, and it cuts really easily. And then pop it in the oven and you've got cookies ready to go. So you can do that. So show us when you're going to pop them in the oven, Jodie.
Yes, I've got the oven on.
Okay, awesome. Well, show us once they're done.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you. And show us, maybe it's a good idea to show us how you space them apart as well, because that was always a query I had, like how far apart should you put them so they don't turn into one big massive biscuit? So show us once you've done that. Okay, so we're going to move over to Elia for the Big Mac style sauce.
Hi guys. So we love Big Macs here in our house, and we have tried all of them. There are recipes on Recipe Community. This one is on Cookie Do, and it's in our barbecue book. There's Skinny Mixes ones. There's ones on USA Cookie Do, and they're all amazing, and we can't decide which one's better than what. So, and they're all similar ingredients anyway. Like some might have a little bit of vinegar, sugar or honey. Like they're all pretty much the same anyway. So this one uses dill pickles. So I've just got from the jar, so 50. So there was 3 of them. I just cut them in half, 50 grams, sorry. So that was 3 pickles. Now it says 40 grams of shallots, but I'm just going to use a teaspoon of onion flakes. Okay. And again, you could actually use the real little shallots. So that's 7 seconds, speed 8. I'm going to scrape it down. Now it does say add 200 grams of mayonnaise. Now you could make your own mayonnaise. I did not have time today. So that's just chopped up the pickles, if you can see, with the onion flakes. And already just the pickles smells like the Big Mac sauce. So I'm just using store-bought mayonnaise, but you can make your own mayonnaise. Make it even better. And then it says white sugar, like a 1/4 teaspoon, but I'm just going to add honey instead. Okay, so I'll do about 10 grams of honey. Bring up the scale, do 10 grams. There we go. And now it'll say mustard powder. Again, I've got mustard powder, but I love Dijon mustard, so I'm going to use a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And then some garlic powder, just a 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. And 2 pinches of salt. My husband loves salt. And that's it. We're going to mix it for 10 seconds. Oh, on speed 4. And it lasts a week. So I'm going to put in a glass jar. We're going to have burgers tomorrow. But because it lasts a week in the fridge, then, like Thursday next week, we might have burgers again. Or if I have like chicken, the kids will use it as a dipping sauce as well during the week. So it's pretty good that it lasts quite long, and it makes heaps. So we're not going to use that many for our burgers. But yeah, so it's perfect that it stays in the fridge for up to 5 days, 7 days, a whole week. So that's it. How good's that? Burgers tomorrow.
That sounds yum, Elia. And I like how you substituted a few ingredients with some different ideas. So if you don't have mustard powder, you can just use Dijon mustard or American mustard, whatever. So yeah, I like those tips that you shared.
And I found this at the shops today, this burger cheese. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I've seen that.
Have you?
Yes, Bubby.
So that'll be good.
Oh.
It says easy melts for grilling and barbecues. So we'll try that. But yeah, it's definitely good, and you can substitute ingredients. If you have a look at all the Big Mac recipes, Recipe Community and stuff like that, you'll see that they're all pretty much the same anyway, just little tweaks.
Well, I guess it's good to have it on Cookie Do, because then we've got the guided cooking, which is also nice. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Elia. Jody, do you want to show us how I don't know if you're ready, if you've put some cookies on the tray?
I've done some. So I've got one tray here. Can you see it? So I've just spaced them out about 5 centimetres apart, it said, because they're obviously going to expand a bit in the oven. So I've got 2 trays. I've just got a couple more to do. So it makes roughly about 1, 2, 3, about 14, 15.
Yeah. And I think you could even double the recipe if you want to freeze some as well. Yeah. And I did mention in the chat, if you don't want white chocolate chip, you can put dark or milk, or even Smarties also works really well. Smarties instead of chocolate chips. And they're very sweet. So don't, just yeah, they're very hard to resist. They're delicious. Okay, Ilham, are we ready to go back to you?
Yes, I am. I've actually removed it from the mixing bowl already. So I don't know if you guys know the trick of turning your mixing bowl upside down and then just twisting the bottom of the blade, and then it will release the dough. And so that's what I've done. I thought instead of you guys watching me do that, I'll just do it beforehand and get it out there for you. So at this point, we wrap it in. You can either, if you don't have a thermomat, which is actually a host reward, so contact your consultants, book in a demo, and then you can get the thermomat. If you don't have the thermomat, just put it in a oiled glass jar, glass bowl, sorry, so that you can allow it to proof. So I'm going to wrap it in my mat for about at least 30 minutes for it to double in size. Once it's doubled in size, let me turn this up, then this dough can actually get 5 baguettes out of the dough, but I'll show you what I've done today. So once it's doubled in size, you equally portion out 5. I've done 4 today, and then you put it in a baguette tray. You don't need this, you can just use a flat oven tray, but you roll them into equal size sausages, and then you just put it on a tray that's long enough to fit 4 or 5. Well, I've got Sandra's baguette trays today, so I used two of them, so I made 4. And so you've got to put each sausage, equal size sausage rolls in the baguette tray, flatten it down, and then put water just to allow the chopping that I made. So remember I made the chopping earlier? So that's a topping. So you're going to put the dough, flatten the dough, put water on the top of the dough, and then spoon some of this topping that I made earlier, as well as mozzarella cheese, and just coat, put it on the top of the baguettes, and then let it sit. Put the silicone mat, or if you don't have a silicone mat, put a tea towel over it and let it sit for another half an hour or 50 minutes at least, half an hour to 50 minutes for it to prove even more. And once it's like proved all the way to the top of your baguette tray, then you put it in the oven. And so you put the oven on 200 degrees, put it in the oven, and then put half a cup of ice cubes at the bottom of your oven, whether it's on the floor of your oven or whether it's in an oven like tray, baking tray, you can do that. I didn't have ice blocks because I moved house, so I just used a half a cup of water, and that worked, cold water, and it worked fine too. And then I've got 4 baguettes. So good, it smells so good. Everybody, my family wanted to actually tuck into it already. I said, no, I need to take a photo first for my our cooking class tonight. But yeah, look at this. How beautiful is that? It looks exactly like it, man. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to taste it. Okay, guys, that's me. I'm done. Bye.
Thanks, Ilham. That's awesome. Are we waiting on anyone else before I go? I think it's just Sue, but that's when her cupcakes get out of the oven. So I can go ahead. So I'm going to show you how to make KFC chicken. Before I start showing you how to make it, I made some this afternoon, and this is what they look like. And it tastes almost exactly like KFC, but without all the nasties, I suppose. So it's just fresh herbs. So I'm going to show you what's in those. So now we're going to be milling a whole bunch of herbs and spices, and here they all are. How nice does that look? Yeah, so just a tip that when you are going to mill, your bowl needs to be really, really dry. Otherwise the milling isn't going to work. So to mill, to dry the bowl, I'm just going to tap on the speed and just go to speed 10 for a few seconds. And if there's any bit of water in the bowl or on the blaze, it flicks it to the side, and then you can just give it a wipe, and see mine was a little wet. And it flicks the little water particles to the sides of the bowl, and then just give it a wipe. And then that way you know your bowl is really dry. So you don't need to take your bowl apart every time you want to, dry the blaze, but it's really important that when you are milling that they are very dry. So we're going to add all of these. Now let's see if my brain's going to function and I remember everything that's here. So we have salt, garlic powder, rosemary, thyme, basil, oregano, and tarragon. Oh my gosh, I remember them all. We have yellow mustard seeds, some onion flakes, some pepper, and some salt. Now, I've reduced the amount of pepper. I find that the original recipe, it says to put 1.5 tablespoons of black peppercorns. I prefer white pepper, but I've only put probably less than half a tablespoon. Now, because then I will taste it at the end, taste the mix and decide whether I should put a bit more pepper or not. I prefer to do it that way than have too much in there, then you actually can't get it out. So, and I've also reduced the salt. It says 2 tablespoons of salt. I've only put 1. I've reduced it. I did find the first time I made it that it was a bit salty. So very easy. All you do is just pop everything into the bowl. And we're going to milk this, I think, for 30 seconds on speed 10. So just go to speed 10. Probably don't need 30 seconds, but yeah. Okay, that's done. Now, so I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we've got some on the lid, and a tip that I forgot to do today is you can put some, oh gosh, that's going down my throat, sorry. You can put some cling film and then pop your lid, and that will stop the spices coming up to the lid. So you end up with a clean lid. I'm trying not to talk too close to the bowl because it's really going down my nose and my throat right now. This happened to Amanda on Wednesday night and I cracked up laughing. Now it's happening to me. Okay, so that's our milled spices and herbs. Smells so good. And now we're going to add some flour. It's 350 grams of flour. Okay, so I'll just pop the scales on. Now, don't halve this recipe. Because whatever you don't use, you can just pop in a jar and it lasts for ages because it's all dry ingredients. Lasts for ages in your pantry. Just make sure you label it so you know what's in there. Don't do what I do. Okay, 350 grams. And now we're just going to mix that all together. So it's that easy. Okay. That's done. So now I'm just going to pop some on a plate because that's where we're going to dunk our chicken. Okay. So yeah, it makes a lot. So as you're going to be dunking your chicken in egg and then into this spice mix, don't pour all your spice mix in the bowl. Just do it gradually because you may not use it all. And then what happens is because you've already put chicken in there, then you have to chuck it and it's a shame. So just gradually put some mix in there. And for the chicken I have, that's probably too much. And I don't want to waste it because I'm just going to show you how to do a couple. Okay, so pop the Thermomix aside. Now, another tip that I want to share with you is tenderizing chicken. You don't want, you want your chicken to be nice and soft. Actually, hang on. Just going to taste this. It's got enough salt and I can taste the pepper. So I'm good with that. But then at this stage, if you want to put more salt or that little bit of pepper, then you could at this stage. Okay, tenderizing chicken. There's a few things you can do. So on Monday night, we had the basics cooking class and I made buttermilk. Buttermilk is great for tenderizing chicken, but with buttermilk, you do need to have your chicken in the buttermilk for at least 24 hours for it to have some effect on the tenderizing of the chicken, because buttermilk has some acidity and it's that acidity that's going to tenderize the chicken. Another option is to sprinkle some bicarb on your chicken. So for about half a kilo of chicken, you want about a teaspoon of bicarb. Just sprinkle it on the chicken, mix it around, and then just let it sit there for 20 minutes. After those 20 minutes, you have to wash the chicken to get rid of all that, to get rid of that bicarb. But what you're left with is, after you cook the chicken which is really nice and soft. Have you ever wondered when you have Chinese food or Thai or any kind of Asian food, really, the meat is just so soft? This is what they do. They use the bicarb trick. So yeah, and that's how they get the beautifully soft chicken. Can you use tofu? Robin, I have no idea. Can you believe I've never ever had tofu in my whole entire life? So I actually don't know if someone else can help in the chat.
Yes.
But
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I mean, if tofu can be fried, deep fried, then yeah, I didn't see why not. I've also done this recipe not in the deep fryer, but I've used the why is my screen so blurry? It's blurry down your end, isn't it? It's so weird. You can pop it in the air fryer, or you can pop it in the oven as well, which I've also done. So if you want it to be a little healthier, then do that instead of deep frying. So I've got an egg. You'll probably need a few more eggs if you're doing, a kilo of chicken. You've got your spice mix there. Oh, it's so blurry. Okay, now what I do with the chicken, so I just grab it, dunk it in the egg, and then just
Sandra,
pop it up. Yeah?
if you just wipe your finger over your camera or a cloth over your camera, you'll be fine.
Oops.
Look at that. Beautiful.
That worked.
That's
Thank
what
you.
I do with my phone all the time.
You know what that was? It was the makeup, I'm sure. Oh, how embarrassing. Sorry,
You still
guys.
look beautiful.
Thank you. All right, so I just do a couple of pieces, because what I hate with doing this kind of things is getting all that flour around your fingers and getting lumps of flour. So what I do that, and then I just move it around so it covers it a bit, so then I can grab it with my dry hand and turn it around. And I do this twice. So I do it twice. I think doing it once just doesn't give, because with KFC you got that really crunchy thick batter. That's how I like to do these as well. So then I will do it again and pop it there. It's a bit of work. It does take a while, especially with the frying, but it's worth it. And what you can do is you can have a whole batch done of this, pop it on a tray, and then freeze it. And then you've got some ready to go. And you can turn them into like chicken chips, which your kids will love, or chicken tender sizes, or a mix of all these different sizes like I've done here. Okay, and then you want to let it sit just for a little bit before you pop it in the fryer. And the reason is that the flour is absorbed by the egg, so it doesn't look as floury when you actually pop it in the deep fryer. And then so what happens is when you pop it in the fryer, because you've let it sit for a bit, then that flour mix is not going to sort of spread into the oil, sort of thing. So that's what happens in the end. So you got to just keep going and keep washing your hands as you go. But yeah, doing that tenderizing part, I'll show you what the chicken looks like. You just end up with really soft chicken, and it's nice, and it's not dry. So that's what it looks like, and it really smells like KFC chicken. Such a great recipe. And there you go. So Elia, I think this with your sauce on Ilham's bread, oh my Lord. Yum, yum. All right, so I think we can go to Sue with the cupcakes, I think.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Cupcakes are out of the oven. There they are. The cupcakes took 20 minutes to cook, and this is what they look like inside. And the whole cake took 35 minutes to cook. They're too hot to ice, but I'll just show you an icing tip. This is the nozzle that I've got. To do the spirals, you start on the outside of your cupcake and work in. And to do the rows, you start on the inside and work out. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there.
There we go.
And another great cookie recipe is this one. $250 chunk cookies. A lady asked for the recipe at one of the department stores, and they charged her account $250 for the recipe. So she decided to share it with everyone. And that cookie recipe makes 75 cookies. So another one you can roll up and freeze, and it's got nuts.
That's another one you can freeze, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. Oh, Jodie, are your biscuits out of the oven? We can just have a quick look.
Yes, they're here. Can you, I'll just lift it up. So they spread quite a bit. You can see
They look so
hot.
good.
Yeah. So they're still a little bit soft, which is what they said they should be. And then after about 5 minutes, I put them on a cooling rack and then they're ready.
Yeah. The mistake I made with those first time I made it, they were so soft when they came out of the oven. I thought, oh no, these are undercooked. But it's how exactly they should be. They should just have a little bit of color around the edges, because when they cool, they're nice and crunchy on the outside but chewy on the inside. So don't be alarmed that that they're too soft, because if you touch them, they will squash when they come out of the oven. So just leave them. Don't touch them. Awesome. All right. So let me just check the chat. So a bit of questions about the bicarb. Yeah, so it's about a teaspoon for every half a kilo of chicken of bicarb. I guesstimate. I just grab some out of the jar and sprinkle it on. Leave it for 20 minutes for it to work, and then you have to wash it off. Then you have to pat dry that chicken before you do this. Otherwise, it'll be too wet. But yeah, 1 teaspoon, half a kilo of chicken for 20 minutes to tenderize your meat. And you can do that not just with chicken, but you can do that with pork, with beef. I've done it on beef rump for beef stroganoff. So, so I wouldn't have chewy rump that, just touching the rump, it just didn't feel like it was probably the best rump. So I tenderize it that way, and it turns out beautiful for a stroganoff, because no one likes chewy stroganoff. So yeah, you can use it on other types of meat as well. Yeah. Yep, definitely wash the bicarb off the chicken before you do anything with the chicken, otherwise it'll have a funny flavor. That's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed tonight, enjoyed the recipes that we showcase. So as usual, we are going to be sending an email with all the recipes on there, as well as the recording of this class that we'll upload on our YouTube channel. Now, before we go, we have some exciting information that we all found out today, consultants. So as of next Wednesday, we have a special offer coming, and we also have 36 months interest-free. So have a chat to your consultant, and she'll be able to tell you what that is. So if you're keen on upgrading from the TM5 to the TM6, this is probably the best opportunity to do that. So have a chat to your consultant, and for more information. Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming tonight. Next week we have, what do we have on next week? I always forget. I should always check before a class and not forget. Babies and no.
Is it feeding a crowd?
Feed a crowd cooking class. Exactly. Yeah. And then the week after that, the baby and toddler cooking class. We're not cooking babies and toddlers, but it's I get that a lot from my smart ass friends. You're cooking babies and toddlers, Sandra? No, I'm not cooking babies and toddlers. Yeah, feed a crowd. So if you want to see how, with barbecue season coming up, you're invited somewhere to a friend's house for a barbecue, you want to take, you know, a big dish, and that's what we're going to be focusing on that cooking class. So keep a lookout for that one. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. Stay safe. Stay warm. It's been cold and dry. Lots of rain. And we'll see you here again soon. Thanks again for joining us. Bye. You sure can. Oh my goodness. Oh, Michelle, you're on. I didn't notice you were on. How are you? We had close to 40 on. How good is that? Okay, I'm going to stop recording.